Hello and welcome to the first English-speaking episode of Sisu Knits podcast. My name is Empo and this is a little little corner in YouTube where I show my knitting and my handcrafts. This podcast has been coming out in Finnish for about 2 years, but I thought it would be also cool to do this in English, so my international knitting friends can also follow up what I'm doing. And I've also gotten almost swore. Sometimes on my channel there is swearing, just what is it called? Just a warning. And I've also gotten a load of friends from my Finnish podcast that I would have probably not ever met outside knitting and podcasting and such. So perhaps I will also meet people through this English version of the whole show. My Finnish podcast is a little bit of a different build. First of all, I apologize. There's traffic outside. There's people screaming outside. I have a mic, but I'm not sure if it's also picking up all the shenanigans going on outside. But let's focus. Yes, my Finnish podcast has a little bit of a different a different format, because I tend to also take small videos of the progress of my projects. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that for the English version. We'll see. It would be a little bit weird to film two pieces, first one in English and I'm not sure how naturally that will come. But I am somebody who loves to share the progress. I'm not as much about the finished product as I am about the knitting journey. So that's why I do that to my Finnish podcast. I'm not sure yet if I'll do it to this one. I've kind of suddenly just decided, okay, now we're gonna make it happen. So I don't even have any English videos of the stuff that I have now. So that's solving it for this episode, but we shall see what happens with the other ones. But yeah, welcome. Gonna look from my notes. I have one set of many little pieces ready. And then I have this shirt. But I tend to always. This is what I always do. No, I tend to focus on perhaps one garment per episode. I don't have always necessarily anything ready, but I always want to focus on something or one thing, and it's going to be this shirt that I'm wearing currently. So let's go just lightly through what else I have ready, and then let's talk about this shirt. Okay. Finished objects. First one is a teeny tiny overall. It's a little bit hard to show here, but it's a Mtoto overall by Sanni Koivumäki, and I made this from I think it's size 68. Well, third size. I don't know anything about babies or the sizing of their clothing, but I think this is the third size, and it's made out of Drops Baby Merino in the color 38 olive, and I made it out of a very affordable yarn and superwash yarn, also because babies poop and babies puke, and you kind of want to be able to just throw it in the wash and not have to fear for what is going to happen to it. So I didn't make it out of any, hand-dyed merino or anything like that, because I want it to be a usable garment, so that when something happens, it can be washed in the machine. So this is it. It has little wooden buttons. We'll just try to, because it wants to focus on my face. But maybe here. Tiny wooden buttons that in my opinion, fit the color really well. And yeah, it's a free pattern, so I can tell you a little bit about it. So it's basically made in two pieces, from this one first, which one, I don't remember which one, and then it's made flat until here. Then you join it, do a little bit of short rows so you'll fit the diaper, and yeah, then just separate two legs, a something that I don't know in English, but like a leg part here. You do some increases here to, and then you make the what is it called in English? Foot sleeves. Then you make the legs. You know, my knitting. It's ironic. How I may struggle now with English as in knitting. I'm a little bit nervous, and when I'm nervous, I tend to forget things. There's two things I do when I'm nervous. I start to forget words. I start to sweat from my face, which I'm currently heavily doing, and I start to yawn. So if I start yawning here, it's not because you're a boring audience. It's because I'm a little bit nervous. So yeah, but to the original subject, I mostly knit in English. I prefer English because the terms and the the little abbreviations, the little like slip, knit is SSK and such. They're a lot easier in English than in Finnish because Finnish is a long language. So I tend to knit 99% from English patterns, but still I have problems. What is it called? Because it's called like, is it called just the leg? Is it like the sleeve of your foot? So if I struggle, just try to bear with me. But yeah, so then it's made with something extra here. You add on the both sides extra here, then you make the sleeves, and then it becomes a teeny tiny overall. I have no idea what size it is, but this was the one which my friend suggested that this could be most usable. It's the little baby is gonna be born any day now, any week now, so it's still quite warm here in the Netherlands until, in my caliber, of course. I'm usually the one who's wearing still like a t-shirt when everybody is wearing a winter jacket, but on my caliber it's still quite warm in here, so yeah, until like end October. So I try to make it so that the baby, it's not like a newborn size. So yeah, this little Mtoto overall, made from Drops Baby Merino. It's really cute. I wish I could have one of these, but I would never have the patience to knit one for myself. Then, as I mentioned, it is a set. So I'll go from the largest item to the smallest one. So next one is a little, it's called Barely, I'm just looking for my notes. It's just called Barely Bonnet by Pure Stitches. And it looks like this. It should have little bare ears here, just little ears. But I wasn't sure what my friend's vibe about that is, so I decided not to put them on. I was thinking I might knit them and then she can attach them if she wants. But yeah, I just tried to do it as neutral as possible because, I don't know what her baby clothes vibe is. Is it just neutral or super cute or, But it was a super fast knit. You knitted the ribbing. Oh, and this one I knit with smaller needles, one size down on needles than I should have, the Mtoto, because I haven't prepared, so I don't know which, or actually, well, generally needle size is somewhat irrelevant for me, as everybody wears, everybody's gauge is different. It depends on your style of knitting and your own gauge and your personal, what kind of, are you using metal needles, are you using wooden needles. So generally I don't really, if somebody says they made it with number 3mm, it might as well say nothing to me, because I still have to check what my gauge is with that yarn and with that, and it might be depend. That person might have a metal one, like a metal needle, which in my case means that it'll be like a sloppier, like a looser gauge, or then I will have like a stiffer wooden needle that has more resistance, then it will be a tighter gauge. So you get the jazz. That I don't really that much speak about what needle I made. Everything, all the details will all be in my Ravelry, which I'll be linking down below. But this one I also made with, I went one needle size down, and it is a super cute. I'm just trying to hide so it doesn't Doesn't want to focus on me. So it's made flat from here. You just first knit flat all the way up here, then you join it to the round, knit a little bit, and then start decreasing. It's also a free pattern. Everything I made in this little set, it's a free pattern. And it's also the same yarn, Drops Merino, Baby Merino, in colorway olive. I think it's number 38. So yeah, it's super cute. Oh, I could wish I had my own. I tried this on Nape, my dog, and she was not very happy. So, but yeah, it's and then I did these with 3. What is it called? 3-stitch I-cord. I cast on 3 stitches and it's a I-cord, so it's super cute. The belly bonnet. Then a very traditional, I think this is a very traditional Finnish way to make baby socks. It is the train socks. So apparently babies are quite oddly shaped from their little feet, and they have a lot of bumps and knocks, and because they have a lot of skin that needs to be growing out, and I don't know. I don't know anything about babies, as you can notice. But this is apparently a very fogging up again. Very traditional model for baby socks in Finland. It's called the train socks, junasokat in Finnish. And it's like basically it's also a free pattern, so I can tell you 12 rows of purl, knit 1, knit 2, purl 2, then purl 4 rows, knit 4 rows, purl 4 rows, repeat the 12, repeat, and then here it's just a regular little heel, and then you don't do any, like in the normal, when you do a heel like this, you decrease here, but in this one you just pick the things back up and continue. So they're pretty cute, I think. I also did this with 2.25. I think 2.5 is the one they suggest, and I did this with 2.25. 2.25. Because I have quite a loose gauge when it comes to merino, and when I make something it just like grows 6 sizes after I wash it. So that was it. And also the same yarn, and then I also did a pair of little mittens. Let's see if it wants to. A pair of little mittens from the same. Basically, I just took this part of the socks and continued it with a mitten. I saw when I googled around, I saw that a lot of people had done it as well. So that's pretty cute. And so that's a little set that then goes to my friend and her little baby. So the bonnet, socks, mittens, and the little overall. Yeah, pretty cute. I forgot some yarn ends here that I have to deal with, but it's fine. Yeah, and I have made them from a yarn that is superwash, so it can be washed in 40 degrees Celsius in the washing machine. And I know my friend loves to wash things, so yeah, they would end up, it would be just too much trouble to give her garments that cannot be washed in the machine. So yeah, those were my little gift set to my friend. And now let's talk about this shirt that I'm wearing. Okay, we're back. Every 12 minutes I have to cut because my camera is somewhat old and doesn't know how to do it himself yet, or itself, but yeah, here is a shirt that fell off my needles maybe a week ago. It's already been worn. I really love it, but the process of making it was not as pleasing as it could have been. And my neighbor just came home, so let's hope he doesn't start blasting music. But it is called the Juhla paita. So Juhla means party in Finnish, and it is quite a cropped silk merino garment. It's quite hard to show it here, so I might do some video afterwards where I show it on if I start getting down from my chair, showing it to you, getting back here, I'm gonna just sweat to death before I make it back. So this is it. It has these little holes and drop stitches, and that is basically it. And then in the end here it has some holes, and then I have made a pearl neck so that I wanted it to like roll. Just hide, just like a pearl finishing to the neck. No, she's not. Maybe. Well, a pearl finish to the neck and garter stitch sleeves. I actually have no idea what the actual pattern called for. I will tell about why I just completely abandoned the pattern at one point. And then there's a garter stitch end here as well. And I can see I have another shirt. Oh, there's a little stitch marker here. Yeah, well, I have used, this is Merinosilk, dyed by a Finnish yarn dyer called Silmusolmu, and it's in the colorway called Antique. And I really love this color, and I've noticed I really also love Merinosilk. I think it's super soft, super nice, and it's not, even I'm sweating here, it's not because of this, it's just because I'm me. But it's like this perfect that it really warms you on the cold day, but on this kind of mellow, is it warm, is it cold kind of day, it will keep you warm. But on this kind of half and half day, it will just keep you cool, just enough not to be cold and not to be warm, just perfect. So I really love the material. It's a little bit more expensive, but I really love the finished result, and it's like a little bit of shiny and yeah, it's. But what I noticed that what it does, I don't know what it's called, like this kind of fluff. Yeah, even when knitting already before wearing, it starts to fluff up like this. Don't know if you can really see it there. It fluffs most from here, because of course this moves around. Let me see if there's. No, it really fluffs up here, and I've noticed that this is really the characteristic of this yarn. It's a quality. It's not a flaw. I don't know what it's called in Finnish. There's a saying in Finnish that it's not a flaw. It's a characteristic. So I would assume that's that. But yeah, it's really lovely. I really love it. I made it cropped because I'm really short, but really quite short, and I use my tops rather cropped than too long, and I use a lot of skirts because or high waist jeans because I like my tops to be snug and fit and short. So I made it a little bit cropped, but to get here, I'm generally on the bigger side of size M maybe, and well, it doesn't really matter. But let's just say my bust would be 85 centimeters, and I would have had to take what the pattern says, being like 120 centimeters to fit, because the how do you say, when you go from size to size, that scaling of that was completely and utterly off. A lot of people had been blaming their gauge, but my gauge was even looser than the gauge in the pattern, because I went up like 2 needle sizes to make sure, because I'm really currently into this kind of flowy, this kind of wavy fabric that really drapes down. And because I wanted to achieve that, and I knew it's quite a snug pattern from the comments, I took up like 2 needle sizes, which I'm really happy about. I think I was like 4.5 instead of 3.5 or something like that. No, that's 1 needle size. No, that's 2. That's from 3.5 to 4 and 4.5. Yes, I do maths. So yeah, because the writing of this pattern, basically how it is that you do, the sizing is that you do a few increases here, and then these holes and nets are the place where you increase. So technically you increase as much on each size as, you know, because generally when you have a pattern, for example, I knit a lot of Anna Johanna, and she has like for the size at this many increases during this many stitches, but here everything was done the same way, and the length of the upper part of the body, length of the yoke. It's called the yoke. It's like that egg yolk. Yeah, of the yoke is maybe if I might be completely wrong, but yeah, I'm only human. So basically, the length of the yoke is also equally long, no matter what pattern. And if you have more size on your upper body, you of course need more length on the yoke as well. So yeah, so I took the biggest size, I think, or 2-3 sizes up. I just took the, basically just follow the pattern until here to the last increase, and then went completely off on my own ways. I did short sleeves because, as said, I'm easily cold but also easily hot during this time of the year, because it's like not so warm but still not so cold. So this is a perfect solution. My body is warm but my hands are still not. And I also have Asperger's, so basically I don't anything. Oh, I dropped it. I took it. I caught it with my toe. I have Asperger's, so I don't like anything coming beyond this. So if I have a garment that is ending up in my elbow, what is it called? This elbow crack. I get really anxious and I keep pulling them up. So I really, really rarely knit anything longer than into my elbows. But yeah, it is what it is. It's really beautiful pattern, but I'm a little bit like about like, because when I knit something, I also want everybody else to be able to knit it, and if it's a size exclusive pattern, then it feels a little bit meh about meh to like tell people, hey, knit this, but well, you won't fit it, but knit this anyway. So that's why actually I didn't mention the designer. It was Juhla by Anu Ahoniemi. It was in the Taito magazine last Christmas. But I don't really want to recommend things that are not inclusive as such. So I want to show this shirt. I put a lot of effort in. Well, not a lot of effort. It is a basic yoke shirt with a little bit of holes. So basically anyone who has a basic pattern for this thing, this kind of shape, can figure it out how to do it and add the holes. So yeah, so I can't really recommend the pattern. I still wanted to show it because I'm really happy with the end result, but because it's quite poorly written, it's poorly sized, I cannot say that yay everybody knit this, because yeah, only a certain demographic of the people who are watching can knit it. So to the pattern and to the sizing, to the end result. So it's really nice. I really love it. I really love how soft it is. It's really a luxurious material. I'm a little bit afraid because it's like this kind of shit is getting loose. Bear with me, my camera isn't the greatest, but it's better than filming. I will just hide. No, but it's better than filming on my phone because I can't see what is happening, and then I'll put like a PC, and then it's like a mess of wires. So I prefer it this way. But it's has this little stuff coming out of it. It's yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind. I think it's a bit of a characteristic of this yarn instead of a flaw, but I'm a little bit afraid if I use it like every day, is it gonna destroy itself? Who knows? But yeah, that was my ready Juhla shirt by Ahoniemi. Alright, we are back. But yeah, one more word about this shirt. I think I really like it. I feel pretty in it. When I wear it, I'm like... But yeah, it's such a sad thing that the sizing is so shit that I can't suggest anybody to buy it. Alright, work in progress. I have 2 works in progress. One is from Anna-Johanna, who is probably my favorite designer, and one is from Petit Knits, who's also not that inclusive in sizing, but this one, she's actually upgraded to I think 5XL, so good for her. But let's just find our way first. This doesn't look like much, except a very colorful circus of markers. I think these are called. One wouldn't believe that I speak English every day, basically for living, but yeah. This is Anna-Johanna's Matta. It is a full lace cardigan. I'm just trying to make some sense out of this, and it looks basically like this. I've made the yoke. I don't know if it's called a yoke. I have a feeling that there's another name for it, but let's just call it the yoke this time. And I basically separated the sleeves and made 1 or 2 rows of the pattern repeat, and I really love it. It's made out of merino single, colored by the same dyer, Silmusolmu, and it is amazing. It's super easy, even though it looks, at least for me, who's quite a beginner knitter, amazingly difficult, but it's super easy. Anna-Johanna's patterns are great. She's a very good, they're very clear, very nicely written, and the only thing that you can see is my short rows here. So I decided maybe when I block it and use it, maybe nobody will see this. So I haven't yet decided should I just rip it back from the beginning or what, but I'll see when we get there, when we cross that bridge. But I'm really happy, and I am one of those, I'm sorry, I'm sweating, lace knitters who prefer to use markers in between the repeats. So this is what it looks like. It's really pretty, and yeah, then my 30 million markers here. But yeah, it's really hard to show at this point. But this is one of my active whips. And I'm gonna make it quite a cropped one, also quite short with sleeves. And it's kind of like more of a bolero size than an actual cardigan. I don't really, it's of course not an why not every day, but it's a bit how would I say it? It's a bit delicate and stuff to my everyday use, because I am a walking catastrophe who will get stuck in places. The dog will get stuck, her nail stuck in my stuff, and I will just eat on my shirt. So my everyday shirts, they go through a lot. So I was thinking this more of like when going to the office maybe one day after COVID, and stuff like this, or maybe I wear it every day. But yeah, so I was thinking about more of a bolero to put on top of a nice shirt and a dress. So this is, and I only have 2 skeins. This is a little bit, there's still this much left from the first skein. And when I do a shirt like this, I always measure quite a lot. So I try them on, I see, okay, the pattern says 50 more centimeters, but do I maybe need 20 or do I need 10? So I always put the garment on and make like, okay, before I just blindly do what I'm told with measurements or increasing or stuff like that, I always try it on and see, okay, does this fit? Because as I said, I like quite a snug fit because the garments relax in the wash and while wearing, so I tend to quite a lot try them on and then make like notes and measurements like, hey, this much here and this much. With this one I also did the same. So basically I didn't take any of the centimeters or the measurements from the actual pattern. I just took everything from my own body. But yeah, I really love it, and I really love Anna Johanna, and this is a from Rova Silmusolmu again. It's called Hertotar. Maybe that's a Duchess, maybe. I will translate it somewhere maybe if I remember. But yeah, it's really super easy. It's super easy. So I've been doing this while watching TV. Now when I got over the hardest part, so yeah, it's something, but it's really a lot of this, a lot of clingy and clangy. I will do a little bit of the body and then I will do the sleeves in between because I've noticed that it's easier for me because on top of my Asperger's I also have reuma, spondylizing arthritis or something like that, spinal shed, and if the garment is really heavy, it's hard for me to do the sleeves, so I prefer to do them before it's too long. Plus then I can just use all the yarn I want into the hem. So sorry. This has been marinating a little bit in my knitting basket while the summer has been here. So, but yeah, but I've picked it up again. I'm really excited. So we'll see what it turns out to. I only have 2 skeins, but I mean I can always buy more. Of course, then I'll have to wait until I get to Finland. So yes, but this is something I'm working on, and I'm really happy with it. And then the other thing I've started has escaped, so I'll have to pick it up. Oh, and this was supposed to first be a novelle. So a novelle from Kate and Hunter. But this color I looked a little bit like a marzipan creature in it. So it didn't really fit as the garment straight against my skin, but it really well fits as the garment on top of the garment, if you know what I mean. So the color didn't really, I honestly looked like an unbaked Christmas ham in this color when it was directly on my skin. Of course, maybe yellow isn't my color either, but I love yellow, so let's not talk about that. So I decided to rip it out and redo it with another color. But yeah, and of course I have to say I'm not really a big fan of single merino. I find it's super soft, but it's also kind of hard in the same way. That's maybe a wrong description, but it's kind of like ropey, maybe, or maybe I'm the only one who thinks that. But yeah, a single merino, it's nice, but I don't know. There's something about it that this is a really nice color, but not necessarily my favorite base. But I think I find single merino, single ply merino a little bit ropey, rope-like. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but how it knits up, it's nice, but I will necessarily not gravitate towards that yarn base a lot in the future. So, but let's dive up my second active whip and let's talk more. Right, I'm back. Just gonna, my microphone is riding up in the places I don't want it to go. Just gonna check it's still on. It is. So my second whip, and don't let me fool you. I'm just gonna move my light. I'm definitely not a 2 or 1 whip girl. I have several whips, and I cast on quite loosely when I feel like, when I'm inspired. I cast on. I have several whips. I am quite productive, so I also get stuff done. But I'm definitely not, how do you call it, monogamous? I am a very, very non-monogamous knitter, so you might see that these two projects are two of several that I'm working on or planning to do. So I am very intuitive when I knit. I do what makes me happy, what inspires me the most. I fly from flower to flower basically. So yeah, that's me as a knitter, and it's fine. Everybody does what they do. Or sometimes I admire people who can stay in one project, but I'm fogging up again. But I'm not that girl, so these are just the two ones that are just my favorite right now. So this hasn't much done yet, but this will be a petit knit. Well, there's not much to say. It's just a stockinette stitch piece, literally a piece of stockinette on a cable. So basically, I did the Stockholm Sweater by Petit Knits to my sister this winter, and I decided that I want to do it for myself, but because I'm not a big fan of mohair, I decided to do it from a leftover yarn of other projects. So this one is leftover from this shirt that I'm wearing, and this is leftovers from a Kadonnuttia Lost Road, it's going crazy, top that I made. And plus I got a skein from my friend in a yarn swap. So I'm making it from these instead of 2 strands of mohair. And I have no idea, I have 280 grams of yarn, which should be enough. But you never know, so I have no idea how long or short it will be. But I will be just combining a little bit of colors to be able to like make the color from it, make the sleeve thingy, whatever you called, prepared well from it, from the other color, and then the rest will be the blue. And this is also silk mohair. Sweating. And I am very happy because the petit knits, yeah, as I said, the pattern wasn't too size inclusive, so I wasn't a bit meh about it. But when she actually increased the sizing this year, end of last year, this year, beginning of this year, sometime, but she did increase it to 5XL, and then I threw it on my needles because also the biggest size was not big enough to create a 15 centimeter, that kind of loose fit to my sister. Where I always wear quite tight, rather negative than positive ease. So for me it's fine. I'm making quite a small size because I don't want that much positive ease. But yeah, so I decided to make it from one strand of fingering yarn. Haven't been drinking. Instead of 2 strands of mohair. So that's it. And yeah, so I made it to my sister. It's super easy, but it still has like picking up the stitches on the shoulder and making some short rows shoulders and short rows before the sleeves, and things like that keep it interesting. So it's not just plain stockinette on the round the whole way through. So it kind of fits my current mood when I want to do something a little more than a woolen sock, basic sock, but a little less than I have to follow a pattern, because my brain is currently just like gone through a blender and being spit out and put back in. So that's the perfect project for that. So I'm hoping to have it ready quite soon. It's quite a quick knit because it's 4.5 millimeter needles. I don't know the US sizes. 4 and 6 US, I think, and 4 millimeters. So it comes quite fast. I don't have any problem knitting purl, so doing it flat in the beginning is completely fine for me. So those were basically my 2 favorite active projects. Now my whole house is full of half-done projects, and my boyfriend is really, really not pleased with it. But do we care? Nope. So that was it. some plans. I could tell here as well. Now it's. I have decided to dye some yarn to socks and to a scarf. And it is this kind of base that I bought from a Dutch yarn seller. It is, of course, I threw it there. Let me catch it again, because it is. Sorry, it keeps a noise. It is 60% wool, 20% silk, and 20% rami fiber. It looks a little bit like. Let's see. It looks a little bit like linen, I have to say. It's quite ropey here. But the silk gives it a really nice soft feel. And it really smells like lamb, I guess. So it's gonna be interesting to try it out. I dye a lot of yarn. I'm not very good at it, but I do it anyway. My boyfriend calls me Walter White when I do it, because I'm just wearing a overalls, like a thing that you put in front of you, and boxers and a gas mask. So if I would ever start a company of yarn dyeing, it would probably be Walter White Enterprises. I would never. I'm happy with my day job, and I like things to be a hobby. So, but in any case, it's something new I'm going to try dyeing for a yarn scarf project, and then for some socks. Then I've also planned to do a jacket. I'm sorry about the focus, it just lives its own life. I have bought this book from my friend. Let me take this book from my friend. So, Urban Knitting by Leeni Hoimila. It's a Finnish version, and I am going to try to do this jacket called Syli. Means a lap in Finnish. Why I haven't bought this book has really pretty things in it, but because it's not a Ravelry, and I tend to always, when I start a new project, go, like, my gold mine is other people's projects. The pictures on the model, that person might have a completely different body than me, like short and tall and skinny. That doesn't tell anything how it looks on people, like, who are like me, very short, quite curvy. So I really love going to other people's projects and seeing how the lap is trying to come into my lap. I really want to see how other people's projects have turned out. Maybe they made some modifications and stuff like that. So it's really a gold mine, and I really it's really inspirational to see other people's work. So because this book hasn't been in Ravelry, it doesn't even exist. I understand Ravelry is not available for everybody, and I hope that changes in the future. But but I still go there to check I use the dark mode, and I go there to check the projects and stuff. So if something is in a Ravelry, it kind of doesn't even exist to me, because I want to see other people's work. Or if it's not somewhere on the internet where I can see other people's work, sure, Instagram, but Instagram is very, I need to be on the PC, because my hands get really, pained and stuff if I'm on the phone. So yeah, I tend to use a lot as a reference and inspiration other people's projects. And because this one isn't anywhere in the internet where I could see other people's finished objects and stuff and comments on the project, I've kind of just discarded the whole book. But now I got it from my friend with a good friend price. So I could have paid full price for it, but because I didn't know what I was getting, and I couldn't go to the bookstore here in the Netherlands. It seems that we have very little physical stores, and in Finland I didn't have time to go to a bookstore when I was there, so it just, so that was it. But now I have it, so I'm gonna do the Syli jacket, and I'm doing it from a yarn that is a Finnish yarn called Jalavilla. and I will actually tell you more about Jalovilla after this. Because I would like to tell you in every episode a little bit about a specific Finnish yarn company. I'm not sure if probably all the people who watch this are just Finnish people who are like, oh, she's made an English episode, let's watch it. But in case there's somebody non-Finnish there, I will every week, every month, tell you a little bit about one specific Finnish yarn company. And this week it's Jalovilla, or month. So let's get to that. Okay, it feels a bit dark in here, but I just took up the ISO on the phone and taking this one then closer, because I'm upstairs, so if I keep the window open and let all the sunshine come in, I'm just going to be blinded by it because I'm at the attic. So basically every month, because I'm planning to be letting out a video every beginning of every month. And every month I would like to talk, because Finnish people, we are we take our yarn very seriously. And I would like to introduce a Finnish yarn company for you every month when I do this podcast. So this month I would like to present a Jalovilla. Jalovilla. So this is a Jalo means noble, basically like noble. Let's see from the phone. Noble, it says. Yellow translation in English, cause why prepare? Noble, high-minded. Well, this is a yarn company that is established, I think, 2009 maybe. And it is a company run by a young Finnish woman. And they have all of the, I made some notes. All of the yarn comes from Finland, and they're all spun in spinning mills, small scale spinning mills. And for example, this yarn, which is called Vuona, is made 100% out of Finnish original breeds. Which ones those are, I forgot to look up, but I will most likely write it here. And it is a very nice one ply. This is my favorite yarn from her, in case. It's a very nice one ply wool and it's because it comes from the native breeds. It's super soft. It's really, really rustic but soft. I'm a weirdo with yarns in a sense that I like super much this merino silk, but what my heart really beats for is this. But I will use both. I'm not a very itchy person, except for my scalp. So yeah, this is Jalovilla Vuona. And basically, so she, all the yarn is 100% from Finland. The yarn on the single ply 100% wool yarns are also 100% Finnish native breeds. And she does everything basically herself and by hand. The yarns are dyed in Rajamäki, Finland, and she does it all herself and tries to do it as sustainably as possible. The yarns are dyed with reactive colors, and she has a small, plate of colors that she repeats, but generally every color is unique and every batch is unique. They're done in small batches. She has a lot of one-time colors. But what I really like that it's sustainable, it's local, it's a young Finnish woman, or young, well, not 15, but an adult, but a Finnish woman who does it, and it's really, really, I really like the color she's making. This golden one, which I'm gonna make my Sully cardigan from, is really one of my favorites. And then I have a little bag of greens. And it's too shiny. Which I will be making a scarf out of. So I really love the colors. They're very close to nature. well, she actually has quite a lot of, there's like batches, like some colors more bright and some colors less bright, and but generally I noticed that abbreviates towards this kind of nature color. So yeah, she also has sock yarn with sock, well, sock yarn, so it has some nylon in it. So it is, she has a 230 meters one called Bassi, and a which is 3-ply with 15% nylon, and and then one called Oinas 255 meters with 100 yards 3-ply as well. And those might have might have wool from other breeds than original Finnish breeds, but it's still 100% from Finland. So I really, if you really want to check out a Finnish yarn, hand-dyed one, because there's a lot of yarns that are out there that are 100% Finland and coming from small farms, but not often dyed. So Jalavilla, if you want to try hand-dyed Finnish wool, this is very, people ask, is this similar to Tukkuwool? And I would say no. This is more similar to käsikerho pom-poms, suomasingle. This is a lot softer than Tukkuwool. Not sure why, but I think Tukkuwool is made, correct me if I'm wrong, but from several breeds, and this is just from original Finnish breeds, making it super soft. So I don't know, but it's not similar. It's not, I mean, it's comparable, but I didn't find them, I don't find Tukkuwool fingering very soft. It's, yeah, I like their sport sock, but from the two of them, I prefer this one. So that's pretty much it from that, I think. If you want to know more, I will leave a link to her shop or her pages and the retailer. So yeah, definitely my represented first, because it is my favorite yarn company. I've used her, all of her bases, I think. Yeah, I just don't, this is just the only one I have that isn't in a project yet. So I've made a really long nice jacket from her DK weight. I think it was with, well, a DK worsted weight. It was with both the 100% and the sock yarn combined together. I made a long magnolia, and then I made a nuke sweater out of I think the 100% wool. It's Uhi is the one with 100% wool, the DK one, and then Bassi and Oinas are sock yarn, so they have 15% nylon and such. So I'm really happy with the yarn, so I would suggest you to go check it out. And yeah, to the last bit, I thought I would just maybe introduce myself a little, of course, which is really weird to do at this point when I've already spoken like an hour, but let's not let that disturb us. So let's do that now. So yeah, introducing myself. It's a little bit weird to do it as the last bit, but I have a tendency to just, when I start talking, I will talk for 20 minutes until somebody tells me to stop. So I decided to do it here in the end. So my name is Anna, or Anna Emilia, where Emppu comes from, and I am 30 years old. I am originally from Finland, but I have been living in the Netherlands for the past almost 10 years. Here in the south of the Netherlands, not Amsterdam, but south of the Netherlands, near Belgium and German border. And I am here because my boyfriend is local, the Dutch. I've been knitting since 2019 March, when I decided to finally learn how to make a wool sock. Because in school in Finland, I'm just gonna come a bit closer because this camera is not finding my face, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna chew them everywhere. So I decided to learn how to do socks, because in Finland, in school, you have to do knits in the primary school, and I've gotten such hardcore knitting traumas from there. I had to make a mitten, and my whole family knit that bloody mitten. It was like needles this size, yarn this size, and it was just like, no, it just, and after I got it done, I don't know where they are. I probably threw them out. I decided I would never knit again. But because my boyfriend really loves his wool socks and my grandmother can no longer keep up to the demand, I decided to learn how to do socks. So I tried and it was okay. I used a tutorial. Novita is like one of the biggest like Finnish everyday brands, and easily available, very good yarn when you just want to grab something and do it. So I had some yarn here and I knitted it and I was like following the tutorial. And it was super fun. It was so much fun. So rewarding, so much fun. I was like, wow, why haven't I done this earlier? Because I got some traumas. Well, so my knitting traumas were away. I still to this day have only done one pair of mittens in this 2.5 years of knitting. But yeah. So that's when it started. Then I did some socks. Then I took part in a cow that had us knit just a plain shirt, just a plain woolen shirt, and I actually still have that shirt on the shirt. It turned out it called the Frankenstein shirt. I will put the pictures in here. Currently the shirt is on my wall in an art piece, which reminds me of you can do anything if you put your mind in it. Despite it being ugly, despite it being ill-fitting, there's some what are these called? So like thingies escaping and there's some yarn sticking here and there. It's ugly, but I did it because you gotta start somewhere. Nobody is a master when they are born. So, or nobody's a blacksmith when they're born, I guess is the really real Finnish saying. So, you know, it takes practice. I can see from the early bits until now that every time I do something, it's better than the last one. So you really need to, it takes time to find your jazz and find your style and what you like and what you don't and what fits you. So I'm really coming in my knitting journey to that point that I kind of well know what I want, what kind of tops and such fit me, what kind of shirts I like, what kind of yarn I like. And I knit a lot to other people too, because I'm currently the only active knitter in my family, apart from my grandma. My sister and my cousins knit, but they knit in seasons of knitting, and I knit every day, all day. And I've gotten pretty okay in it, so I love learning, I love challenging myself, I don't mind going ass up a tree. So if I decide something, I'll learn it. I'm very hesitant in starting. Like for example, I want to do like braids, but because I know that when I start I will go full in, I will not do anything else until I nail this shit. So I haven't started yet because I need to be in the right mood. But I generally when I start something, I'll learn it and I'll go for it. It's called Finnish Sisu, and this is also why this thing is called Sisu Knits. Sisu means like strength of will. I'm just gonna do it no matter what. Let's do it. Doesn't matter if it's gonna rain and snow and there'll be a hurricane. I'm gonna do it, man. So that's kind of Sisu. That's kind of like I'm gonna do it no matter what. So that's Sisu. So that's also Sisu Knits. So yeah. But yeah, apart from knitting, I like other handcrafts. I'm doing a little bit of novice sewing. Well, driving with a sewing machine. No. Well, you got it. Making clothes with a machine. I like drawing. I like photography. I like doing things with my dogs. I have one here, one Jack Russell here and 4 in Finland. Yeah, it's just generally I'm very doing whatever feels like today. Sometimes I like to write and sometimes I like to read and then I like to create and then I just like, okay, today we're gonna paint my whole bathroom blue. Ta-da! So yeah, I'm quite a walking catastrophe, says my dad. So what you gonna do? Yeah, but it was nice if you made it all the way here. I hope to see you next time, early October, September now. Yeah, early October. And leave a comment down below if you feel like it. You can subscribe to my channel also down below, and I'll put the thingy somewhere here. Thanks a lot. It was nice. It was a little bit scary, stiff in the beginning, but I noticed I've got it now. I'm relaxed. Thanks. See you later. Bye.